Useless, annoying, wasted potential, and proof that Kishimoto can't write female characters. These are common critiques from those who judge characters purely through the lens of battle prowess or favoritism rather than genuine narrative depth and emotional nuance. Tragically, this superficial perspective has misrepresented Sakura for years, overshadowing the fact that she stands as one of the most authentically developed female characters not only in Naruto but in shonen manga as a whole. Instead of criticizing Sakura for what we wish she had been, let's look at the story Kishimoto actually wrote and the deeply human character that emerged from it. Perhaps the most honest way to describe Sakura is an ordinary person among monsters. She wasn't a Jinchuriki with legendary chakra reserves. She wasn't the last heir of a cursed bloodline destined for greatness. She was a normal girl standing beside giants, and that was the point. Sakura couldn't, and narratively shouldn't, compete with Naruto's overwhelming power or Sasuke's tragic genius. Her role was different, grounded in emotional realism, perseverance, and internal growth rather than flashy combat feats. Unlike Naruto and Sasuke, Sakura's origins are strikingly mundane. Her parents were ordinary shinobi. They didn't die heroically or suffer tragic fates. They lived quiet, unremarkable lives. While Kishimoto's editor discouraged a deeper dive into Sakura's family, this blank slate of normalcy perfectly serves her narrative. She represents the ordinary person's struggle in an extraordinary world. Sakura's early life mirrored that of many ordinary children. She faced teasing over trivial things, the size of her forehead, the color of her hair, and grew up in the shadow of her bold and charismatic best friend, Ino. While some readers, especially younger male audiences, dismiss her struggles as shallow, many girls and adult readers recognize the authenticity of her experience. Sakura's problems weren't epic, they were real. Insecurity, loneliness, comparison to others, and the fear of not being enough. This divide in perception between different parts of the audience is key to understanding why Sakura's character resonates so differently depending on the reader. To cope with these insecurities, Sakura adopted a strategy many real-world people embrace: hard work, diligence, and perseverance. She became the smartest person in Team 7 through steady effort, embodying a kind of attainable success anyone could aspire to. We meet Sakura in Chapter 3, positioned between Naruto and Sasuke. At first glance, it's easy to mistake her role as part of a generic love triangle, pinning after Sasuke dismissing Naruto. But even from the beginning, the writing hints that her relationship will evolve far beyond these shallow archetypes. Her love for Sasuke is a shallow teenage one, based on admiration for his strength and mystery rather than true understanding. Her annoyance towards Naruto stems partially from his and her own immaturity and her lack of experience and understanding. Sakura couldn't yet recognize how Naruto's actions, seeking attention and validation, came from being shunned by the village. And yet it is through Naruto's resilience, sincerity and kindness that Sakura slowly begins to confront her own immaturity and learn the value of authenticity over appearances. Another early sign of Sakura's internal complexity is her inner voice, the sharp, sarcastic version of herself, her true self. Her internal monologue perfectly reflects the experience of many young girls, who feel forced to master through emotions to conform to societal expectations. At the end of Chapter 3, Sakura, fooled by Naruto's transformation jutsu, makes a thoughtless comment about Naruto's upbringing, blaming his behavior on having no parents. A wild thing to say about an orphan to another orphan, and something she's still flamed for today. She's met with a brutally harsh response from Sasuke, a first major reality check to her sheltered perspective. Though, what matters most here is Sakura's reaction. She internalizes Sasuke's criticism and genuinely reflects upon her mistake. This marks a significant turning point as Sakura actively commits to understanding and treating Naruto better. stepping outside her comfort zone into the challenging reality she'll face throughout the series. The next major step forward comes during the bell test with Kakashi. At first, Sasuke remained little more than a distant crush to Sakura, but during a rare and vulnerable moment, Sasuke alludes to the Uchiha massacre, hinting at the immense trauma he carries. For Sakura, this is a revelation. Her feelings begin shifting from a superficial admiration to genuine empathy. She starts realizing that strength isn't just about skill or popularity, it's about bearing burdens invisible to others. Sakura's bond with Naruto also strengthens during the test. Witnessing Naruto's determination and resilience despite constant humiliation plants seeds of admiration. From this point onward, Naruto is no longer just the annoying kid. He's someone worth respecting and protecting. By the time Team 7 faces Zabuza in Land of Waves arc, Sakura's normal world is truly gone. Confronted with death, poverty, sacrifice, and the emotional wreckage of real battle, she realizes that being a shinobi isn't about fame or admiration. It's about enduring unimaginable hardships for the sake of others. Although she isn't the physical powerhouse on the team, Sakura excels where she can, in vigilance, loyalty, and emotional strength. She shows compassion for the suffering villagers, and she watches Sasuke nearly die in front of her, an event that impacts her deeply. Her growing bond with Naruto also becomes clear. No longer a source of irritation, Naruto becomes a true teammate and a friend, a bond that would eventually become one of the emotional cores of the entire series. Importantly, Land of Waves also cements a critical truth. Sakura's limitations compared to Naruto and Sasuke are not narrative failures. Rather, they're intentional reflections of reality. Not everyone is a prodigy. Most people, like Sakura, grow not through destiny but through conscious effort, and that makes her journey all the more inspiring. The Chunin exams, and particularly the Forest of Death, mark the most critical turning point in Sakura's journey towards self-acceptance, emotional maturity, and overcoming deep-seated insecurities. After their traumatic experience in Land of Waves, Team 7's bond grows visibly stronger. While each member retains their distinctive traits, it's clear they've developed real mutual respect and trust, a foundational change for all their coming struggles. Yet, entering the Chunin exams, Sakura's primary insecurities re-emerge, her perceived uselessness. Where she once measured herself mainly against Sasuke, she now feels increasingly inadequate besides Naruto as well, recognizing his remarkable growth and resilience. Ironically, these feelings are misplaced. Sakura repeatedly proves herself a highly capable kunoichi, outsmarting complex genjutsu, acing the theoretical exam without cheating, and demonstrating strategic clarity others lack. However, like many fans who judge her unfairly, Sakura falls into the trap of comparing herself only in areas where Naruto and Sasuke naturally shine, raw power and innate genius, rather than valuing her own distinct strengths. Her changing attitude towards Naruto is one of the Chunin exam's quiet triumphs. Outwardly, she still scolds him for his antics, but internally, her thoughts during the theoretical exam reveal a deep, growing affection. She genuinely hopes for his success, not because it would benefit her, but because she has come to care about his dreams and well-being. This small but meaningful shift showcases how far Sakura has already matured, especially compared to the series' opening chapters. The defining moment for Sakura comes deep within the Forest of Death. After Orochimaru's devastating attack leaves both Naruto and Sasuke incapacitated, Sakura stands alone, confronted by her greatest fear: helplessness. In this critical moment, Sakura chooses courage over despair, not out of pride but from the profound realization that true strength isn't about raw power, but about protecting those you love. Knowing she's outmatched, she fights anyway. Her decision to cut her hair, long a symbol of superficial beauty and validation, becomes a striking metaphor. Sakura discards childish vanities and embraces a painful, dangerous adulthood. This moment isn't about physical victory, it's about emotional transformation. Here, Sakura stops measuring her worth by other standards and starts living by her own. When Sasuke later awakens, consumed by the violent rage of Orochimaru's curse mark, it would be easy for Sakura to recoil in fear. She doesn't. Instead, she steps forward and embraces him, accepting the darkness, the pain, the fear, all without judgment. Through her unconditional compassion, Sakura becomes an emotional anchor, allowing Sasuke to regain control of himself. This isn't simply romantic affection, it's empathy born from understanding deep pain, a maturity few others in the story exhibit at this point. Sakura's growing emotional intelligence is further seen just before the preliminary matches. Recognizing the invisible wound Sasuke carries, not just physical but psychological, Sakura quietly begs him to withdraw from the tournament. Sasuke, I know that you've been barely able to contain the pain all this time. She's not talking about the curse mark alone, she's speaking to the deeper emotional agony he hides. At that moment, Sakura stops being a mere teammate or admirer, she becomes someone willing to carry a part of his burden. Sakura's internal journey culminates in her battle with Ino, a confrontation layered with history and emotional stakes. Flashbacks reveal how Sakura always felt overshadowed by Ino's confidence and beauty. Making Ino her rival wasn't about petty love competition over Sasuke, it was about validating her own identity, proving she could stand strong without living in anyone's shadow. Empowered by everything she has endured, Sakura calls out Ino for clinging to superficial ideals, prompting Ino to symbolically cut her own hair, mirroring Sakura's earlier rejection of vanity, making them equals in yet another aspect. The fight itself ends in a draw, but Sakura's true victory lies in breaking free from the insecurities that once defined her. Her fierce willpower, overcoming Ino's mind transfer jutsu through sheer determination, stands as a testament to her evolving strength. Perhaps the best and most subtle illustration of Sakura's emotional depth comes later when she and Ino choose flowers for Sasuke's hospital room. Ino picks a rose, a classic symbol of straightforward romantic love. Sakura, however, chooses a daffodil, a hardy flower that blooms even in the dead of the winter, waiting patiently for springs without succumbing to the cold. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Ino's love is immediate, bold and simple. Sakura's love, like her character, is patient, enduring, rooted in compassion and understanding. She recognizes Sasuke's emotional pain and isolation and remains committed to supporting and protecting him no matter the personal cost. It's not about winning Sasuke's heart, it's about standing by him through the storms he cannot weather alone. This flower choice beautifully encapsulates who Sakura is and who she's becoming. As the Chunin exams conclude and Konoha invasion begins, Sakura's growth is undeniable. But her insecurities still linger. Witnessing Naruto's explosive progress during the battle stirs new doubts about her own contribution. Still, her protective instincts push her into action when Gaara assaults Sasuke, throwing herself in harm's way without hesitation. Though she is severely injured, her bravery shines. When Naruto ultimately saves her, Sakura initially mistakes Sasuke for her savior, but it is Sasuke himself who corrects her, acknowledging Naruto's role and allowing Sakura to express her gratitude. This small but important moment cements the evolving bonds between Team 7 and quietly foreshadows the emotional upheaval to come. Sakura's gratitude inadvertently deepens Sasuke's internal turmoil. Sasuke begins experiencing feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, both for failing to protect Sakura, whom he has grown attached to, and for seemingly falling behind Naruto, his greatest rival. Thus, Sakura unintentionally finds herself at the emotional center of a brewing rivalry, serving as a catalyst that intensifies already strained dynamic between Naruto and Sasuke. This escalation reaches a tipping point during the rooftop battle between Naruto and Sasuke, following Itachi's shocking return to the village. Itachi's reappearance reawakens Sasuke's buried trauma, sending him spiraling into darkness and desperation, a desperate need to prove himself no matter the cost. Forced to watch the two most important people in her life clash violently, Sakura is overwhelmed by a sense of helplessness, but she refuses to stand by idly. In a moment of courage, Sakura runs between them, prepared to risk her own life to stop their collision. If not for Kakashi's intervention, she would have been fatally wounded, an act that underscores her loyalty, compassion, and willingness to sacrifice herself for her friends. This moment crystallizes Sakura's role. She is the emotional heart of Team 7, the only one desperate not to win but simply to preserve the fragile bonds between them. Among all their peers, it is Sakura who perhaps most clearly perceived that this battle is not merely about rivalry. It's a symptom of something much deeper and darker. She recognizes that Sasuke is reaching a breaking point, teetering on the edge of abandoning the village entirely. Trusting Naruto deeply, Sakura confides in him about Sasuke's curse mark, demonstrating her emotional maturity and openness. However, unlike Naruto, she harbors no illusions. She alone intuitively senses the magnitude of Sasuke's internal suffering, understanding that his departure is no longer just a possibility, it is almost inevitable. Determined to prevent the fracture she sees coming, Sakura intercepts Sasuke before he can flee. Here, she lays herself bare, offering not only her love but a shared burden, willing to carry his pain, stand by his side, and walk his path with him if only he would let her. But Sasuke cannot accept. Burdened by grief, guilt, and hatred, he knocks Sakura unconscious rather than allowing her to follow him into darkness. It is a devastating moment, not because Sakura's love is not welcome, but because it is fully understood and rejected. Sasuke recognizes her sincerity, her bravery, her willingness to stay, but he chooses solitude and vengeance over healing. Crushed yet undeterred, Sakura turns to the only person she still believes can reach Sasuke, Naruto. In one of the series' most emotional moments, she tearfully asks Naruto to promise he'll bring Sasuke back. Sakura knows she lacks the strength to save Sasuke herself, but her faith in Naruto is absolute. It is a request made from love, guilt, and hope all at once, a burden Naruto accepts without hesitation. Yet tragically, this promise becomes a chain for both of them. It is a promise born out of heartbreak that will haunt Sakura and Naruto all the way to the very end of the series, tying their fates together with painful, unwavering determination. The outcome of Naruto and Sasuke's brutal clash leaves an inedible mark on Sakura. When she sees Naruto's broken body and quiet sadness, the weight of her earlier promise crashes down upon her. Driven by guilt and compassion, Sakura tearfully begs Naruto to forget about the promise, hoping to free him from the burden she feels responsible for. Yet, she misunderstands Naruto's resolve. Naruto refuses. He made that promise not out of obligation to Sakura, but because of his own unwavering determination to save Sasuke. A bond forged not by words, but by shared loneliness, pain, and hope. It's not Sakura's burden Naruto carries, it's a burden he chose himself. Seeing Naruto's resilience, his refusal to give up even after unimaginable pain awakens something new within Sakura. Rather than spiraling into despair, she resolves to change herself. If Naruto refuses to give up on his promise, she too must refuse to give up on herself. Determined to grow stronger, Sakura makes one of the most important choices in her life. She asks Tsunade to take her as an apprentice. Tsunade, one of the legendary Sannin, a woman who embodies resilience, independence, and unparalleled strength, becomes both Sakura's mentor and symbolic ideal. This choice marks Sakura's first truly independent step forward, not relying on Naruto, Sasuke, or anyone else, but forging her own path. Under Tsunade's rigorous mentorship, Sakura throws herself into grueling physical and medical training. But her transformation is not merely physical. True strength isn't measured by brute force or recognition. True strength lies in the ability to protect, heal and endure, especially when no one notices. True confidence must be built internally, independent of others' validation. For the first time, Sakura's growth isn't about impressing Sasuke or measuring up to Naruto. It's about becoming the best version of herself. She moves from dependency to authentic self-sufficiency, setting her on a real path of enduring strength. Iruka once commented that Sakura's greatest weakness was her lack of raw strength and physical power compared to her peers, but weakness is not permanent. And when we see her again in Shippuden, that transformation is undeniable. Sakura, once seen as ordinary, returns as someone extraordinary, armed with new strength and new purpose. When we first see Sakura in Shippuden, it's immediately clear. She has changed a lot. Her growth isn't confined to physical, though her newfound strength is staggering. It's her emotional and mental evolution that shines just as brightly. Sakura's physical prowess now borders on unparalleled, a testament to her unwavering commitment and grueling training under Tsunade. But perhaps even more impressive is her intellectual development. Her deductive reasoning, sharp strategic mind and vast medical knowledge elevate her to an indispensable member of Team 7. Sakura is no longer chasing the shadows of Naruto and Sasuke. She is carving her own distinct identity. A subtle yet deeply symbolic sign of her maturity is the disappearance of her inner Sakura. The internal voice that once expressed her hidden frustration and doubts. Its absence isn't accidental. It signifies Sakura's newfound confidence. She no longer needs to hide her emotions or mask her vulnerabilities. She has embraced herself fully, expressing her true thoughts and feelings with authenticity and courage. Sakura's transformation is placed on full display during the Kazekage rescue arc. When Kankura's life hangs in the balance, it is Sakura who steps forward, demonstrating unparalleled mastery in medical ninjutsu, skills honed through relentless training and personal sacrifice. Her achievement here transcends technical ability. Saving Kankura symbolizes something far greater. Sakura has finally discovered her true path. No longer trying to compete with Naruto's explosive power or Sasuke's natural genius, she embraces her own strength, healing, protecting, and strategically outthinking her enemies. Every shinobi has their own role, Sakura finds hers and excels in it. But Sakura's newfound strength doesn't end with healing. It's tested brutally in her fight against Sasori, one of the Akatsuki's most dangerous members. In this battle, Sakura fights fearlessly, ready to sacrifice herself if necessary. She skillfully combines raw physical power, keen intellect, strategic precision, and emotional bravery, qualities that define her new self. Although Granny Chiyo's assistance was crucial, it is Sakura's own strategic thinking, resilience, and relentless spirit that turned the tide. Facing an opponent far stronger than herself, she does not falter, she rises. The battle against Sasori perfectly encapsulates Sakura's growth. No longer the insecure girl seeking validation, she stands as formidable kunoichi, empathetic yet unyielding, composed yet fierce, and well aware of her own power. Sakura proves that she has become extraordinary, not because she was destined to be, but because she fought for it. Despite her undeniable external growth, Sakura's journey throughout Shippuden remains far from complete. Beneath her newfound strength, she continues to wrestle with internal struggles, particularly the scars left by Sasuke's absence. The Tenchi Bridge arc makes this painfully clear. She witnesses Naruto's harrowing transformation during his battle with Orochimaru, watching him lose himself to the Nine-Tails rage and hears Kabuto's chilling words. This is no longer a battle between ninjas, but battle between monsters. It's not just a comment about Orochimaru or the Nine-Tails, it's a grim realization of her worst fear. Naruto is slowly destroying himself under the crushing burden of the promise she once asked of him. When she sees transformed Naruto wounded, she rushes to his side, begging him to stop sacrificing himself for her sake. for a burden she now wishes she had never placed upon him. Her immediate concern wasn't herself but Naruto's well-being. Yet Naruto, lost in his rage, wounds her. When he comes to his senses and asks about her wound, Sakura lies. She wants to shield him from guilt, to preserve the spirit she has come to treasure so much. It's a noble instinct, but also an enduring flaw. Sakura often suppresses her own emotions and distorts the truth in an effort to protect others, at the cost of her own honesty. The echoes of her pain resurface, louder and more devastating during Team 7's reunion with Sasuke. When Sakura finally stands before him, the boy she once loved now consumed by darkness, she becomes paralyzed. Torn between two irreconcilable forces, her lingering love for the Sasuke she once knew, and her duty to protect her friends from the Sasuke he has become. This internal war is not weakness, it is inevitable cost of her heart. Sakura's emotional arc has always been profoundly human, rooted in the tension between compassion and necessity. Yet despite her heartbreak, fear and paralysis, Sakura chooses to act. She pushes past her hesitation and attempts to strike Sasuke, willing to sacrifice her personal feelings to safeguard her comrades. It is a painfully human decision, one few could have made, and one that defines Sakura's maturing strength. The ability to confront her heart's deepest contradictions without surrendering to them. Following this failed confrontation, Sakura's external achievements continue to soar. Her medical skills during Pain's invasion, her valor during the early stages of 4th Great Ninja War, yet internally her turmoil remains unresolved. It is in this fragile emotional landscape that the events of 5 Kage's summit unfold. Perhaps the most controversial and misunderstood moment of Sakura's character arc. Upon learning of Sasuke's action, his attack on Killer Bee, his alliance with Akatsuki, his assault on 5 Kage's summit, Sakura is emotionally shattered. The boy she once vowed to protect is becoming a villain before her eyes. But what truly drives her next fateful action is not Sasuke alone. It is Sai's emerging emotional insight. Sai, once devoid of emotion, now recognizes that Naruto is suffering. He mistakenly believes Naruto's pain stems solely from the promise he made to Sakura, and he tells her so, bluntly. For Sakura, the accusation is devastating. She and Naruto share one of the deepest, purest bonds in the series, built on shared pain, loyalty, and survival against all odds. Hearing that she might be the cause of his suffering strikes her at her very core. In a moment of desperation, guilt, and profound love, Sakura makes a tragic mistake, believing she must relieve Naruto's burden even if it means betraying her own heart. Recognizing her own limitations, that she cannot match Naruto or Sasuke in sheer strength, she makes the only move she believes she can. She lies. She falsely confesses love to Naruto, trying to manipulate him into abandoning his pursuit of Sasuke. It is a profoundly flawed decision. Manipulative, yes, but also deeply human. It is the action of a girl willing to sacrifice her dignity, her trust, even her own happiness to spare Naruto further pain. But in doing so, Sakura tragically misunderstands Naruto's resolve. Naruto's drive to save Sasuke was never about her promise. It was his own vow, born from shared loneliness, shared wounds, and unbreakable bond between brothers. Her lie crumbles under the weight of that truth. And in that moment, Sakura understands. She cannot save Naruto by shielding him. She cannot save Sasuke by deceiving herself. She must confront the pain directly, just as Naruto always has. Determined, Sakura sets out to end Sasuke's reign of destruction herself. Not out of hatred, not out of vengeance, but out of love, true love, the selfless kind that seeks not possession but peace. Yet when she finally stands behind him, kuna in hand ready to strike, she hesitates. Because to kill Sasuke would not only be to kill the boy she loved, it would be to kill a part of herself. It would mean abandoning the compassion, the hope, and the belief in redemption that have defined her journey since the very beginning. Sakura's strength was never about overpowering enemies, it was about protecting the hearts of those she loved. To strike Sasuke would have been to betray the truest part of herself. And Sakura, above all else, refuses to lie to her own heart. During the 4th Great Ninja War, Sakura's evolution from an insecure girl into a fully realized kunoichi becomes undeniable. Her intelligence and deductive skills shine brilliantly as she's the first to uncover the White Zetsu infiltration, an enemy even the most seasoned shinobi failed to detect. Her medical expertise, patience, and unshakable composure save countless lives, quietly affirming her indispensable role in the allied shinobi forces. In a war dominated by monsters and legends, Sakura becomes a symbol of resilience, saving lives, preserving hope, and ensuring that the sacrifices of others are not in vain. But her most emotional and symbolic growth emerges when Sasuke returns to fight alongside them. Unlike her younger self, who would have accepted him uncritically, this Sakura immediately sees through Sasuke's detached facade. She does not fall back into naive romanticism. Her love, once youthful and idealized, has matured into something far more powerful. A compassionate but realistic understanding of who Sasuke truly is. At last, Sakura stands proudly as an equal besides Naruto and Sasuke, not by overwhelming power alone, but through a complete balance of strength, intelligence, emotional maturity, and unwavering will. Her role now surpasses even Tsunade's legacy. Combining immense physical power and masterful healing, she protects thousands while actively shaping the battlefield's outcome. Summoning Lady Katsuyu, Sakura saves countless shinobi across the warfront. Her monstrous strength clears wave of Ten Tails clones, and her deep emotional insight allows her to remain grounded while the world crumbles around her. She is no longer chasing Naruto or Sasuke. She has found her own place, not above, not below, but alongside them. Sakura's contributions leading to the climax cannot be overstated. She manually keeps Naruto's heart beating, single-handedly keeping alive the boy who once represented everything she feared and now everything she stands for. She leads the charge against Rinne Sharingan Madara, pushing forward even when others faltered. It is her unrelenting resolve that helps bring Sasuke back from Kaguya's dimension, allowing him to join Naruto in the final confrontation against Kaguya. And it is her decisive blow, physically sealing Kaguya's fate, that cements Sakura as a true savior of the world alongside her teammates. Yet perhaps Sakura's most crucial moment comes not in physical combat but in emotional courage. Just before Naruto and Sasuke's final clash, Sakura once again reaches out to Sasuke, not as a naive girl clinging to an idealized love, but as a woman fully aware of the darkness within him. Her plea is not one of the selfish desire, but a heartfelt cry born out of understanding, shared suffering, and unwavering compassion. Her words visibly shake Sasuke. It is symbolized by the trembling of his leg, a subtle but clear sign of doubt breaking through his hardened shell. Perhaps, just perhaps, it was her voice, soft yet resolute, that planted the seeds of hesitation in Sasuke's heart. A seed that, combined with Naruto's unyielding will, ultimately leads to Sasuke's emotional defeat. Not a defeat by force, but a defeat by ideals, by love, by trust, and by the painful acknowledgement of the bonds he could never sever. Sakura's journey comes full circle here. She is no longer the insecure girl seeking validation. She is the protector, the emotional anchor, the healer of wounds both seen and unseen, not by overwhelming power, but by unwavering heart and enduring strength. Sakura's story is not one of overwhelming genius, prophecy, or monstrous strength. It is the story of an ordinary girl who, through relentless effort, painful self-confrontation, and unwavering compassion, rose to extraordinary heights. True to the symbolic daffodil she once chose, Sakura bloomed even in the harshest emotional winters, never succumbing to despair, patiently enduring pain, and ultimately flourishing into a figure of strength and beauty. Her compassion remained intact, but it was now sharpened by wisdom, grounded in self-worth, and fortified by experience. Sakura grew not by chasing others, but by finally finding her own path, one of healing, protection, and emotional authenticity. She did not surpass Naruto and Sasuke in raw power, she surpassed herself. While many criticize her arc for revolving around her love for Sasuke, they often miss the deeper truth. Sakura's love was never shallow. It evolved from infatuation to understanding, to painful acceptance, and finally to a love grounded in choice, not desperation. It was her love, not her strength, that anchored her greatest act of heroism. In the end, Sakura stands not as the character some fans demand she be, but as a character she needed to become. A protector, a healer, and a woman whose emotional journey is one of the most realistic, human, and profoundly moving in all of Naruto. Sakura is not just one of Naruto's best written female characters, she is one of the best written characters, period. Her story reminds us that real strength isn't measured by how loudly you roar, how many battles you win, or how powerful your lineage is. Real strength is measured by the quiet, stubborn courage to keep growing, keep caring, and keep standing tall, even when the world gives you every reason not to. Now, if you enjoyed this in-depth character analysis, make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.